intuition is telling me there'll be better days.
What's up, Glamazons? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about the 5 deadly myths about love. And this is from the book, Are You the One for Me? By Knowing Who's Right and Avoiding Who's Wrong by Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 love myths and the consequences of those 5 myths. So if you're interested in hearing about that, then keep on watching. And if you do like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And if you're feeling frisky, subscribe. All right, so let's get into it. So love myths are beliefs about love and romance that prevent us from making intelligent love choices. And we have developed these beliefs from media, TV, books, mainstream culture, basically, or just not knowing the right information. All right, so let's talk about love myth number 1, and that is love conquers all. But does it? Deep in our hearts, we all secretly believe this myth, that if we really love our partner, we will be able to make the relationship work. No problem, no conflict, no set of circumstances is insurmountable if we just love enough. So it has a little exercise. It says, think back to your past relationships or the problems in your present relationship and fill in the blank to this sentence for yourself. So some examples were, if I love my partner enough, it won't matter that, and then here's where you're supposed to fill in the blank. But the examples are, he drinks, our sex life isn't great, he criticizes me all the time, we fight constantly over how to raise the children, I'm not really sexually attracted to him, he doesn't have a job and hasn't worked in 2 years. I know all about that one. He constantly flirts with other women. He has a hard time telling me how he feels. I want children and he doesn't, etc., etc., etc. So, what are some of the consequences of believing this myth? So number 1, you avoid facing your relationship problems or seeking solutions to those problems by telling yourself, if we love each other enough, none of these conflicts or personality differences will matter. So a second consequence is you stay in unloving and unfulfilling relationships even when they're not working by telling yourself, if I just love him more, he will change. So this myth can cause you heartache, pain, and even physical harm because it convinces you to stay in relationships that are not healthy. So people with very low self-esteem or a childhood history of neglect or abuse often set themselves up in toxic relationships where they find it difficult to leave, convincing themselves that if they have just loved their partner more, his or her harmful behavior would disappear and would be replaced with love and affection. Unfortunately, this is a trap. Your partner's dysfunctional behavior is determined by forces that you have no control over. So another consequence is you beat yourself up emotionally when a relationship doesn't work, telling yourself, if I'd only loved him or her more, I know I could have saved it. But the reality is, love is not enough to make a relationship work. It needs compatibility and it needs commitment. And the sad truth is very few relationships end because 2 partners don't love each other enough. It's because they're just not compatible. All right, love myth number 2. Basically, love at first sight, or when it's really true love, you will know at the moment you meet the other person. And I think this is something that else we, at least the majority of us secretly believe in. We believe that if it's really true love, you'll know the instant you meet that person. So the possible problems that can come from this are, number 1, you dwell on the intense connection or chemistry and avoid examining the rest of the relationship. You get addicted to flashy beginnings and miss opportunities for real, lasting love. Love at first sight junkies often look for all the wrong qualities in a mate and overlook the right qualities. So what is love at first sight? Just what is it that you feel when you meet someone and have the instant feeling of falling in love? If it isn't love at first sight, what is it? So it could either be lust at first sight, you experience raw sexual chemistry between you and another person and assign more emotion to the bond than there actually is. You cannot stop thinking about the person, not because you're in love with them, but because you are turned on by them. Intense physical attraction, especially with someone who fits your mental picture of the perfect partner, can easily be mistaken for love, especially if you're looking for an instant high. But the high of lust at first sight is often followed by the low of disappointment you feel when the relationship doesn't turn out the way you hoped it would. So what you think is love at first sight could also be infatuation with their image. Sometimes when you think you're falling in love with someone, you're actually in love with their image, either how they look, their profession, how much money they make, the things they've done in their life. You build a fantasy relationship in your head, telling yourself, my boyfriend is a doctor, or I'm dating a woman with the perfect body, and thus you ignore the real person. What about those couples who say it was love at first sight? They knew immediately that's the person they were going to spend the rest of their life with. They did experience a powerful attraction and an emotional connection at first, but it also grew into a strong and successful relationship. They recognized something special in each other at first sight, but the true love developed over time. It takes just a moment to experience infatuation, but true love takes time. A first impression of someone is not enough to determine whether or not they will be a healthy and loving partner. You need a second, third, fourth, fifth impression. You need time to discover someone's character, not just their exterior. Falling in love is the easy part, but building a healthy relationship takes hard work. Okay, love myth number 3. There is only one true love out there for you, the one. And, in every relationship, there comes a time where you ask yourself, is this the one for me? And part of the problem with that question is the one. It assumes that for each person, there is one and only one right partner, and we need to find that partner or we'll never be happy. So when we're single, we walk through life, scrutinizing each potential partner, cataloging every flaw as evidence that this is not the one. The one would be a better dancer. The one wouldn't have 2 children from a previous marriage. The one would be making more money. The one wouldn't be 10 pounds overweight. But in our attempt to avoid making a mistake and missing out on our one true love, we often deprive ourselves of experiencing truly wonderful relationships. And when we are in a relationship, especially during rough times, we secretly ask ourselves, I wonder if this person is really my perfect mate. So here are some consequences of believing there's only one true love. You compare your partner to your fantasy picture of the one and miss out on appreciating their uniqueness. Number 2, it prevents you from being open to a new relationship after one has ended. The problem with this myth is it can inhibit you from starting over again after the relationship you hoped would last a lifetime ends through breakup, divorce, or death. If you really believe in one true love and you lose that person, you are left facing the rest of your life with a lonely heart, sure that no one could replace your mate. But the reality is, it's possible to experience true love with more than one person. There are many potential partners you could be happy with. Each true love we have stretches our heart in a different direction, and each relationship serves us in a different way. I believe that, each relationship is there to teach us certain lessons about ourselves. And there's not just one person who is going to help you to learn all the lessons you need to learn in this lifetime or to grow in every way you need to grow. So love myth number 4. The perfect partner will fulfill you in every way. The thought is, basically, I expect you to fulfill my every need. I expect you to know what I want, even when I don't tell you what I want. I want you to read my mind and know all of my secret expectations and deliver them. I want you to have the answers for me when I'm confused, cheer me up when I'm down, and make me love myself when I don't feel confident. You will, of course, entertain me constantly so I never get bored, and enjoy all of my hobbies and interests so you can be the perfect companion. Yeah, that will never happen. Although that's slightly exaggerated, the truth is that many of us walk into relationships unconsciously expecting our partner to fulfill our every need, and when we do not, we become resentful and disillusioned. And she calls this setting someone up, especially because you may be unconscious of what some of those needs are, and therefore you can't articulate them to the person you love. And this is something that, and I think a lot of women struggle with. We expect our perfect partner to know what we need without us telling them. And I have had to learn and teach myself, and it's something I'm still working on, to tell someone I need. Because if you don't, how else are they supposed to know? You know what I'm saying? So the negative consequences of believing in this love myth include: you fail to recognize a good relationship because your partner isn't fulfilling the needs you should be filling yourself. The fantasy that your true love will make everything okay is a deadly one. It can cause you to end a perfectly good relationship because you expect your partner to do for you what you should be doing for yourself. If you feel emotionally empty before you start a relationship, you would feel just as empty once you're in one. So another negative consequence from this myth is you resent your partner for not giving you what you should be finding elsewhere. It took me years to figure out that there are needs we have as women that men just can't and shouldn't have to fulfill. Not basic needs like those for love, affection, friendship, etc., but needs women have to enjoy themselves. Face it, ladies, most husbands are never going to enjoy coordinating the decorations for your child's birthday party, sorting through fabric samples for the new couch, or spending hours roaming the mall for sales as much as women do. These are needs better fulfilled by other women. The right partner will fulfill many of your needs, but not all of them. We each have our own wish list of what we want in a perfect partner, but here's the point. There are some needs only your partner should fill, but there are others that your family, friends, and acquaintances can fulfill for you. It's important to distinguish between what you would like in a partner and what you really need in a partner. Myth number 5. When you experience powerful sexual chemistry with someone, it must be love. Have you ever convinced yourself that you really love someone as an excuse to continue having sex with them? I know I have. Have you been in a relationship where the only time you were really getting along was in bed? I have as well. Have you ever pursued someone telling yourself that you were madly in love, and after consummating the relationship sexually, realized it wasn't love, it was lust? This myth has a basis in the inherent guilt many of us in our culture feel about acknowledging and enjoying our sexuality. Since society, our upbringing, and our morality often don't give us permission to be sexual for its own sake, we imagine that we have to have romantic feelings for someone we simply have the hots for. So she calls it the lust into love formula, and this is how it works. Number 1, first you feel powerful sexual chemistry with someone, or in raw terms, lust. Number 2, next you act on those urges and have sex with that person. Number 3, then you experience some guilt or discomfort having been so sexually intimate with someone you aren't that emotionally connected with. And number 4, finally you create a relationship with that person to legitimize your lust. So the negative consequences of this love myth are you get involved with people who you're not compatible with, or you stay in relationships longer than you should and have a hard time letting go of partners who are not right for you. Good sex has nothing to do with true love, but making love does. If you have fantastic sex with a partner, it does not necessarily mean you love them. It does not necessarily mean you are meant to be together, and it does not necessarily mean you have a good relationship. It does mean you have good sexual chemistry, one of you or both of you are skilled lovers. Okay, so those are the 5, I don't know if they're deadly, but the 5 destructive love myths. And the negative consequences that can come from believing in them and acting on them in your life and your relationships. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Which one of the 5 love myths are you guilty of believing in the most? For me, I want to say that if it's expecting the perfect partner for you to know and give you everything you need, because that's just unrealistic, but it's something that I have struggled with in the past. Like, oh, if this was really the right person for me, they would have known to call me after that text I sent. They would have realized that I'm upset and called me. But I had to learn that I need to verbalize my needs, or else the other person may never know what it is I need. All right, guys, I love you. I will see you in my next video. Bye.